Hello, my name is Hans George Campbell, and welcome to part 2 of my Commodore 64 computer refurbishment and future-proofing video series. Today I'm going to be recapping the motherboard, and I'm also going to be replacing the two voltage regulators with new ones. So let's get started. Alrighty, I'm back. I thought about how I was going to do the second part of this series of videos, and I decided rather than have you sit through and just watch me unsolder all the capacitors and the voltage regulators and of course the shielding, and watch me resolder everything, I think that would make for like a boring video. So I think it would be better just to show you the before, what the motherboard looks like now, and then come back after I do all the work and show you the after, and show you what I did and talk about what I did and why I did certain things. So I think that would be a better way of doing this second part, which is the recap and the future proofing of this motherboard. So yeah, anyway, I'll be back shortly. Okay, on my workbench now, and I want to show you guys the after, what the board looks like after I've done all the work. As you can see, I changed out all the capacitors. I put in, I unsoldered the original capacitors, and then I soldered in these high quality capacitors. Most of them are made in Japan. Some of them are made in the United States by Sprague. They're good capacitors too. And then I also unsoldered the two old voltage regulators, and I soldered in brand new ones. And I applied Arctic Silver thermal compound between the 7805 and this heatsink here. And then I bolted it on using a bolt and a lock nut so that I can snug it without over tightening. And because this is a lock nut, it's never gonna loosen up. And I cleaned off the old thermal paste from off the VIC chip, and I applied these heat sinks over all the main chips, mainly over the SID chip, the PLA chip, and the processor chip. And then I just stuck a single heat sink on these other chips as well. And I think it turned out pretty good. I think it turned out pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this shield right here back on, but I need to apply the thermal paste, and I'm using this stuff here. I don't know if you can see it. It's Arctic Silver compound, Anyway, you just want to apply Well, let me get it started first. A lot of times. Okay, this one, I don't know. It's not coming out for some reason. Let me get my other one. I have another tube of this stuff. Yeah, I got another tube of this stuff. And I know this stuff is still fresh. So you want to apply, you don't want to apply too much. Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to clean off the dust off that copper pad. Okay, you want to put like just a little bit, like right there in the center. That's it. That's all you need right there. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need any more than that. Okay, and the reason for that is because you don't want this Arctic silver oozing out. Okay? You don't want it oozing out and possibly, you know, oozing into the IC socket here. That would not be good because Arctic silver has, it's metallic. It's conductive. So if you put too much of it on, what happens is as it heats up, it liquefies. It turns into like a liquidy paste. And it's okay as long as it has a surface area that it's adhering to. But if it oozes out past the metal part and the chip part, it can possibly ooze on down into this IC socket and, you know, short it out, cause shorts. So yeah, again, I'm going to show you how much I put on here. Just a little bit, not much. That's all you need. Okay, and then let me put this baby back on. Actually, oh come on, you gotta go in there like that. Okay, and then just put that on like that, and that should be good. Should be on there, should be good. Okay, that should keep that chip nice and cool. Yeah, just that little bit of Arctic silver is all you need. Okay, and now I'm going to get a clean cotton makeup pad. These cotton makeup pads, they're 100% cotton and they work really good for cleaning stuff. And you can get like a bag of 100 of them for like $3. You know. Okay, well, let me see. I get some of my alcohol here. Yeah, I get some alcohol and do a good job of cleaning this. I just want to get the remove my fingerprints from off of this because I don't want it causing this to later on oxidize and possibly rust. Same thing with this. Yeah. There. That looks better. I think that'll be good. And you see how much of that crap too. I wonder why they painted that. I mean, they painted that like. also do it like that. Yeah, that looks good enough. I want to get a clean one. Yeah, I want to get a clean one. I'm kind of a perfectionist, so buff that up a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is, okay, I've decided that since I'm going to be using this Commodore 64 computer with a video converter and an LCD display, LCD monitor, that the RF shielding is not necessary on this particular motherboard. Plus, they had that flimsy cardboard crap, you know. I didn't like that, so yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and bring the case over. And I printed out a label. Okay. Printed out a label so that I know that this was recapped and future-proofed, and it has the month and the year that it was done and the person that did it, you know. Okay, and so we're gonna put these babies, well, actually it might be better, that. Okay, let me make sure it's in there. Yeah, I don't want to strip anything out. That should be correct right there. Make sure it's centered on the camera. Okay, that looks, well, let me get up. Center. Okay, I'm going to take a quick sip of my coffee. Yeah, I'm having my coffee out here in the shop. I'm pulling a Miss Mad Lemon. You know, she likes to have her tea at her workstation. Well, I like to have my coffee at my workstation. So, Miss Mad Lemon, if you're watching this video, I just wanted to give you a shout out. I do like your channel. I watch your videos all the time, so I think we have a lot in common, because not only do you like messing around with vintage computers, but I see that you also, you're into classic stereo equipment, and that's something else that I'm really into. And so in some future episodes, when I invite everyone into my computer room, well, you get to see my classic Onkyo Integra cassette deck and some of my other classic stereo equipment. I think you'll like that. You'll enjoy that. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to Miss Mad Lemon. If you're watching this, I think you have a nice channel, and I do enjoy watching your videos. Okay, let's continue on here. I need to screw in this board. And I'm using it's a low torque screwdriver. It's a small number 2 Phillips, low torque. You do not want to use a full size number 2 Phillips screwdriver on these. You just don't. You want to, when you put these in, because you have metal screws going in the plastic, you want to back them out till you hear them click. Don't just start screwing them in, because you can cross thread. And then once you hear it click like that, then that means it's seated itself. The screw has seated itself into the plastic threads. And it should go in real easy. Now don't tighten yet until you get all the screws in. because that allows the board to shift itself if it has to. Okay, so don't tighten any of the screws so you get all the screws in. And you usually start from the middle first. Okay. Don't tighten until you get them all in. Okay, but you usually start with these middle ones first, and you work your way out. That spreads out the pressure. It evens out that pressure. This is just something that I've learned from being not only an electronics assembler for 25 years, but I also did mechanical assembly, and I had to go attend classes for that, believe it or not, and learn, you know, all the different aspects of mechanical assembly. And that's how you start. You start from the middle, like when you're screwing down a circuit board. You start from the middle and you work your way out to even out that pressure. And you don't tighten any of the screws until they're all in. After all in, then you shift the board a little bit. You know, it's called seating the board. And then you tighten down the screws again from the center and you work your way outward. That's how you do it. So the next screw we're going to put in is right here. And again, you back up till you hear it click, and it seats itself into those threads, those plastic threads. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put one here. Uh-oh. Yeah, this Commodore 64 computer... Oh man, are you serious? Are you serious? I'm having a dropsy today. I think I might have to take another sip of my coffee pretty soon. So, but yeah, this is my workhorse Commodore 64. I use this mainly for like doing my YouTube videos and things like that. That's what this one's going to be used for. And yeah. Okay, so that one's in. I got two more to put in. There's usually, I think, 7 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's usually how many is in here. Okay. All right. Okay, so now that they're all in, we just make sure the board's seated. Okay. Make sure the board's seated. And then we start tightening the screws down again from the middle. And you just want to snug them. You don't want to go crazy with tightening these. You just want to snug them. That's it. That's another reason for using, you know, a low torque screwdriver. Because a full size Phillips, a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, it has too much torque. You can very easily over tighten these screws and strip the plastic threads. So you don't want to do that. Okay, and that's it. As Adrian likes to say, this is now an RF shield free zone. Okay, so Adrian, I'm giving you a shout out. I think the name of his YouTube channel is Adrian's Digital Basement or something like that. Anyway, Adrian of Vancouver, Washington, if you're watching this, hey, I'm giving you a shout out, your YouTube channel. I do watch your YouTube channel. And this Commodore 64 computer here, this workhorse Commodore 64 computer, is now, as you like to put it, an RF shield free zone. Okay? yeah. All right. I hope to see you soon up at the Commodore Users Group in Vancouver, Washington. I'd like to come up there and see you guys. Okay. See, that one's stripped. And that's not my fault. That's just, you know, whoever tightened this before, they over-tightened that screw and they stripped it. They stripped those threads. It's not bad yet, but I don't want to tighten it anymore. I don't want to strip that. Okay, so anyway, all these screws are in. The motherboard is now screwed in. And we'll, you know, plug in the keyboard and put the top case on, and then we'll continue on with the rest of this video. Let me take another sip of my coffee. Yeah. Gotta take another sip of my coffee. Ah, that's some good coffee. I can see why Miss Madeline has to have her tea, you know, near her workstation when she's working on her computer stuff, because it's just so, you know, it's just so refreshing, that hot tea. I like tea also. Okay, so here is the top. I've decided not to refurbish the keyboard until after I get a case saver kit for this case. And at that time, I'll do part 3 of this series, where I take out the keyboard and refurbish it. And then part 4 will be me installing the keyboard, or excuse me, not keyboard, the case saver kit. Now, I can't remember. I think this is keyed. It'll only go in one way, if I remember correctly. This is keyed, if I remember correctly. Let me see. It should be keyed. Okay. Why isn't this? What the heck? I don't want to force it. You do not want to force this. It's either going to go in or it's not going to go in. Yeah, you don't want to force it. God, I hate the way this is. Are some of those pins bent or something? I think some of them might be bent. Yeah, the keyboard connector is keyed. It'll only go in one way, so yeah. You know what I'm thinking about doing? Let me move this out of the way temporarily. I don't like these, let me get that from the camera. I never liked these things banging around inside my damn Commodore 64. Like, what the hell? I hate these things. You know, these things here, I don't know how I'm going to get that off. Was he going to fit through there, or do I just have to break it off? Probably just going to have to break that damn thing off. Because I don't want to break this connector trying to get this out of here. Yeah, I'm going to have to break that off. Somehow break it or something. Shoot, are you kidding me? Yeah, I don't like those hanging on there like that. So, what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can break that without messing the keyboard up. I mean, okay, I broke it. Well, they break pretty easy, actually. They break pretty easy because they're just some kind of like a ferrite, like, I don't know, like something kind of like a ceramic material. So now I won't have that banging around on the inside of my computer. I never liked those damn things. And then we have one here. I mean, how the hell am I going to take that out? You know, it's not needed. These things aren't needed anymore. You know, it's just not needed. Oh man, are you kidding me? I wonder if I can break this with the... I don't want to mess with that wire. So let me see if I can just get jiggy with it. Okay, well that ain't breaking like that. Yeah. Well, shoot. I don't want to mess up that cable, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't want to mess that cable up. There you go. I knew if I got jiggy with it that I can break that without messing up the wiring. And see? I got more wiring. Don't have to worry about that thing banging around on the inside of my computer. There you go. I'm loving it. Like Adrian likes to say, this is an RF shield free zone. Okay? RF shield free zone. And that includes those little ferrite beads, whatever you want to call them. Okay? Now, let's continue. Put this baby on here. Get it plugged in, okay? Oh man, are you serious? I might have to get jiggy with this keyboard cable. Yeah, might have to get jiggy with the keyboard cable, man. What the hell? I ain't going in, man. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What the hell? Don't do this, man. Okay, what the hell? I don't want to force it. Okay, I think it's going in now. I just had to get jiggy with it. Okay, it's in there. And I'm thinking it's centered. Okay, that's in it because it is keyed. It'll only go in one way. So that's the nice thing, you know, the Commodore did for that. Okay. And now we're just gonna go like that because we got to plug in this. Which way does this go? See, they should have keyed this as well, because how does this go in here, you know? I guess I have a 50-50 chance of it, of this power LED being plugged in right. Okay, so, and then, okay, what the hell? Okay, this goes in like that. How about that? We don't want this. Okay, we don't want this getting in the way. Just get in there like that. And then while you're putting this in, see, you don't want to break those tabs, because you could break the tabs actually putting this on too. Oh yeah. I learned that the hard way because that actually happened to me one time. Yes, it actually happened to me. Yeah, you gotta like press while you're putting this on, and then it should go together like that. Yeah, it should go together like that. And oh man, is this looking nice or what, man? It's looking nice. Yeah. I'll thoroughly and completely clean the keyboard once I get a case saver kit. Then I can do all of that at the same time. you know. Okay, why isn't it going on? See, that one's stripped. It's stripped. Yeah, whoever was in this, they stripped that. Now, I don't know if there's a way to unstrip that. I didn't do it. I would never do that. Okay, that one's in. And I could try pulling this one back out. See, it won't even let me take it out. I know that sounds nasty, but see, that one's stripped too. It just keeps going in, but it's not really gripping. I mean, what the hell? Yeah, I'm probably going to have to get a new case. Because some stupid person, they used, you know, that's what I'm saying. They used a normal size Phillips screwdriver and it had too much torque in it. And when they retightened this, they stripped those out. Yeah. Anyway, there's that. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to put some of my tools away first. I always like putting my tools away. I put my Arctic Silver compound away. Alright. Take another sip of my coffee. Alright. Okay. Let me put this in front of the... Yeah, like that's fine. Alrighty. Okay. I want to talk about the heat sinks that go over these chips. It's not enough just to put the heat sinks over the chips. In fact, you're actually doing more harm than good. And I'll tell you why that is. The heat sinks can only dissipate so much heat per second. Okay? And if the chips are giving off more heat, giving off heat faster than the heat sinks can dissipate that heat, then the heat sinks will actually trap the heat within the chips. And that's exactly what happens on the Commodore 64. When you peel and stick these heat sinks and you put them on top of the chips. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to, okay, I know that these heat sinks are relying on convection air to remove the heat from all ends, but that doesn't happen fast enough inside these Commodore 64 cases. They just don't. Now, in the bread bin model, it has these vents here along the front, which is a good thing. These vents are more important than these vents here. These front vents here, forward-facing vents, are very important for what I'm going to show you next. Okay? So, basically, what you can do, I'll move this down so I can show you. You need to get air somehow flowing within this computer. Okay, you need to pull the air through those vents, have it go across those heat sinks, across the fins, pulling the heat with it, and out the back of this user port. Okay? And that is where a VIC modem comes into play. Okay, a VIC modem, there's a top right there, and you can cut a hole in it to mount a fan. Well, I would mount like either a 50 or a 60 millimeter fan in there. Okay, and you can get them the same thickness. You mount a fan, you cut a hole, you mount the fan, you have like you mount a jack on the rear part here. You can plug in like a 6-volt or a 12-volt power pack, like a wall wart, you know, power pack in here. And then, okay, after you mount this fan and the power jack, you can even have a switch. You can plug this back in. It's got these plastic pegs that push back on, so it's friction fitted. And then once you do that, you can plug this in, not plug it, but have it sitting, where's the user port? Like right here where the user port is. Okay? Let me make sure that's in the camera correctly. Yeah, you can have that sitting in the user port, and it's going to cause the air to flow, you know, from the forward vents across those heat sinks through here, and the fan is going to make it where it's blowing air this way. Okay, so it's going to constantly be pulling that air through the Commodore 64 computer. That's what you want. And these things will work really good. It's just a VIC modem. Okay, just a VIC modem case, and you take everything out of it, and you cut the hole, you know, the hole for the fan, then your 4 mounting holes, right? And you put a little jack on the back somewhere. And the fans, you can, okay, this here is a 40 millimeter. It's a 40 millimeter fan. I think that's what this is, a 40 millimeter. But you can get these in 50 and 60. In fact, I think a 60 millimeter fan will fit just the inside of this lip perfectly. It fits within this inside here perfectly. The larger the fan, the quieter it is, and the more air it'll pull, you know, it'll produce, and more air it'll pull through the Commodore 64 computer. But you really need to have air flowing through that computer in order for the heat sinks to work properly. Because if you don't have air flowing through that case, the heat sinks are actually trapping the heat in those chips, and they will eventually fail. That's the reason why I actually prefer the Commodore 64 computers that have that metal shield with the tabs that actually touch down, you know, touch the top of the chips. That's actually a very efficient way of getting rid of that heat. Anyway, I thought I'd talk about this as well. Anyway, looks like my camera battery is fixing to die, so I just wanted to, you know, get part 2 of this series done, show you my Commodore 64, you know, what I've done as far as the recapping and the future proofing and all that. And in part 3, as soon as I get the K-Saver kit, I'll remove the keyboard and refurbish the keyboard. And in part 4, I'll install the K-Saver kit, and I'll show you guys how to do all that. And then I'll put it back together, and this computer will be ready for a lot of videos that I'm planning for the near future. So stay tuned for these upcoming videos. Anyway, my name is Hans George Campbell, and until next time.